Welcome to Virginia Currents. I'm Lily Lee. This week, learn about a jobs program helping reform inmates. Plus, we'll head to Manassas to meet one of the state's top teachers. That's coming up. But first, at some point, about 90% of Virginia's inmates will be released. Unfortunately, many can't get a job, so they fall back into crime and end up back in prison. Well, Virginia Correctional Enterprises, or VCE, aims to change that. And they don't just make license plates. VCE runs nearly 24 industries and employs about 1,500 offenders. When the offenders get out, they have up-to-date job skills and experience and a better chance at being productive citizens. One success story is Ellen. She breaks any preconceived notion you might have of ex-cons.
I never knew the level of hurt and pain inside of a prison. Most people that are incarcerated are dealing with guilt and shame and loneliness, the fact that they can't get to their kids. There are so many people that just want to be loved. And to me, that is the core issue for a lot of those women. Yeah, granted they did something wrong. They're in prison. They're going to do their time. But I never knew people live the way that a lot of those women live. Not in my wildest dreams would I have ever envisioned that I would be sitting in this chair saying that I'm a convicted felon, just having completed 9 years and 2 months. Life before incarceration for me was probably like most people. We did traveling lacrosse, we did grocery store on Friday nights, we did PTA meetings, we did church on Sunday. It was very normal. Then a series of bad choices. When in a difficult life situation, I made a series of bad choices. When I was first incarcerated, when we pulled up to Camp 13, I went upstairs with my sack of stuff and my black trash bag, and I think I cried for 2 weeks because it was truly an environment that I had never been subject to. It's kind of like the Alice in Wonderland, and when she fell into the hole, you know, and the whole world was upside down. And the other part of that is it's not just me, it was my kids, my mom and dad, my sister. You know, we all fell into the hole together. You know, there's three things that got me through. That was my faith, my family, and my job. That was the one really cool part about my job when I was incarcerated, was that we were given the opportunity to come out, to work with the public, to do something meaningful. And that sometimes, I mean, was your total focus, was your job, because it meant so much. I can remember when I left the regional jail. I can remember going and sitting in my truck at the time and just kind of, and I don't know what I was waiting for, but I didn't have the desire to call anybody. I just wanted to sit there and just kind of process the quiet. You know, no one was going to tell me I had to be back in at a certain time. I could go anywhere I wanted to get anything I wanted to eat. Oh, there were lots of tears. But I can remember sitting in the truck and just kind of going, it's over. And the time I was incarcerated, my kids graduated high school, college, they got married. You need to stop that. Yeah, they've graduated high school, college, they've gotten married, they've bought houses, they've had children, and they're very successful. Even though they fell in the Alice in Wonderland hole with me, they visited on a regular basis. And I really think that helped keep me grounded. And that really is odd Because what you find, out of 280 women, there may be 20 to 30 women on a weekend get a visit. Can you imagine 10 years ago when I became incarcerated, gas was $1.25 a gallon. I can't even tell you what system I was running on my home computer. My cell phone was the size of a brick. You know, I had no clue as to what texting was. So when I got into work release, it was so funny. There was a guy sitting in work release and he was steady texting, and I'm like, what are you doing? So, you know, the world has come so far, and the software and this keeping your skills up to date is, I mean, I could go anywhere now and be comfortable in a work environment.
Virginia Correctional Enterprise, it's not just work for work's sake. It's work for fulfillment, work for training, work for skills that transfer into society. Many offenders don't have work skills, and so they don't really have a work ethic. And we have to prepare the offenders for successful reentry, or they're going to return to crime and be recidivists. From an offender to a citizen is quite a transition. When you have someone telling you when to get up in the morning, as opposed to self-control and self-drive to make those changes in your life to be successful. And I would say she is unequivocally successful.
I'm a production supervisor for VCE Digital Works. We do everything from brochures to posters to flyers to manuals, training manuals, a little bit of everything.
VCE originated this Digital Works location as the first correctional industries program outside of a prison compound. These are offenders from a low-risk unit. They wear a particular uniform, but it doesn't look so much like an offender. But they're escorted, and everyone knows that those are offenders. But yet they're also co-workers.
When you do these, I never lower my expectations, and they know that. But I try to always thank them for what they do. So the little things, really, I know. A lot of the girls here don't have, I mean, they've never worked a job for more than 2 or 3 months. So it's almost like a breath of fresh air for them to come in and to have those expectations, and then to have somebody say, hey, you did a great job this week.
I think VCE provides that kind of bolstering for their spirit, as well as for their emotional status, to say, you know, I think I can do this. I think I can succeed.
When you're incarcerated, you're not encouraged. You're not, there aren't any warm fuzzies. VCE offers hope, instills confidence and encouragement into people. That's huge. Yeah, and if you guys need help, just let me know. Okay. Yeah, but I don't think you're going to. No. Okay. Okay. I know the state is struggling with the recidivism rate. And to me, VCE, that is it's a wonderful fix to the problem. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say you broke the law, you deserve to be punished, and that is correct. But one day, most people that are incarcerated are going to be out, so given an opportunity to be productive, that they don't have to depend on the system. To me, that is just like the ultimate fix. And the job and making a livable wage has afforded me the opportunity to have my own apartment, to have my own car, to pay my car insurance, to be a productive citizen. You know, one of my most favorite things now is to go home, no TV, no stereo, no company, but just to go home, to walk through the door, to sit on the sofa, and it's just quiet. There aren't words to wrap around the hugeness of me sitting in this chair. You know, people will say, you know, how do you feel about your job, or how do you feel about your life? There aren't words, you know. I feel blessed, and I mean, that's as big as I can put it.
Ellen, one of the many success stories at VCE. When asked why she ended up in prison in the first place, she declined, saying it wasn't relevant to this story, that the real focus is how VCE gave her hope behind and beyond bars.